If you're new to the sport of fishing and just starting out, welcome. You've come to the right place. We're going to get you hooked up with everything you need to know right now to catch fish right now the right way. Before we start, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It'll really help us grow our channel. Here are the topics we're going to cover today in detail. If you've ever been to a Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's or a local tackle store, you can see that there are countless fishing options to choose from, with long aisles of rods and reels, shelves of every type of lure and plastic bait possible. It becomes quite overwhelming and really hard to start. No worries, we've got you covered. We're going to give you the simple ABCs of everything you need to start fishing now. Okay, first things first, you're going to need a fishing rod. And for a beginner, we don't need to overcomplicate rod choices. There are basically two types of fishing rods you can buy, a spinning rod and a bait caster rod. We're going to focus on a spinning rod as your first rod, which is often easier to operate and less expensive than a bait casting rod for anyone who's just starting to fish. So let's start with the power and action of your first rod, which is what you're seeing right here. I would recommend that you initially choose a fast action and light to medium power spinning rod as your go-to all-around first rod. A light to medium power action rod basically means it's the amount of force it will take the rod to bend when fighting a fish, and thus how much pressure is needed to reel the fish in. The light to medium action rod means how much sensitivity you're going to feel through the rod. So this combination should give you everything you need to catch pretty much every freshwater fish there is in any lake or pond you're going to be fishing, like bluegill, crappie, bass, trout, catfish, perch, and even walleye. We're showing you a medium-heavy rod here for fighting heavier fish, but I want to reiterate that the light to medium sensitivity is going to allow you to better feel every bite through the rod, especially for smaller fish. And the fast action is going to allow you to get the fish reeled in with relative ease and not have to be a pro bodybuilder to muscle a bigger fish in. Always remember, you want to have the right gear to allow you to do the job in the best and easiest way possible. And remember that fishing should be fun and relaxing. So go get your fishing rod and I'll see you out on the water soon. Okay, now you've got the right rod. Congratulations. Now let's get you a nice reel to pair with the rod. The real key to a spinning reel comes down to what is called the drag, which basically is the amount of resistance that's put on the fishing line when fighting the fish. This will be very key to understand so you never lose a big fish or a very small fish because the reel drag is not properly set. It's also important to have a decent reel that is going to allow you to cast the rod smoothly and effortlessly, and this is typically governed by the ball bearings in the reel. If you can get a spinning reel that has at least 4 to 5 ball bearings, it should be able to do the trick to catch any of the fish we just mentioned in the last segment. Of course, many of the premium reels out on the market today have 10 or more bearings, but they're also very expensive, and you just really don't need that right now, okay? Many times you can buy a nice starter rod and reel combo for about $50. That'll do the trick every time for you to get out on the water. Okay, awesome. Now you have the right rod and reel, so we'll cover the fishing line you need to outfit your new spinning combo. There are also countless types of fishing line colors and price points out there, but let's keep it simple and focus on the top 3 choices in the market. These are monofilament line, braided line, and fluorocarbon. Joe and I exclusively use braided line for a variety of reasons that we're going to cover shortly, but first, just a couple quick basics on the other 2 most popular types, being monofilament and fluorocarbon. Monofilament line is by far the more widely used and more affordable fishing line out there that you'll find pre-strung on virtually any rod and reel combo that you can buy. And of course, it'll do the trick just fine. The advantages of monoline are that it is the cheapest costing, it does tie good knots, and it's abrasion resistant. The strength of the line is expressed in pounds, so a 6-pound or an 8-pound mono line is all you'll need as a beginner to get started. Fluorocarbon line is very sensitive. It does have good strength, but it's a lot more expensive and sometimes gets knot failures. So again, our overwhelming choice is braided line. Braided line has zero stretch and zero memory in the line, which is going to significantly reduce the amount of line tangles or backlashes you get in your reel. And it's super strong, yet super sensitive. It'll allow you to feel everything the fish is doing in the water. You can get 20-pound braided line that will basically be sufficient for just about any fish you can catch in any lake. As with rods, reels, and line, there are just as many, if not more, choices when it comes to what hook type, size, and color you should be using. Of course, all depending on what type of fish you're actually going. The easiest, most basic, yet very effective hook to use for beginners fishing with live bait like earthworms and minnows, or corn kernels or pieces of cheese or hot dog, is a snelled bait holder hook. A size 4 or a size 6 will do the trick. With hook sizes, the higher the number, the smaller the hook when using a bait holder snelled hook. The opposite is actually true if you're using a worm hook or a circle hook for bigger species like largemouth bass or catfish. So a 2/0 or 3/0, where the larger the number in the numerator, means a larger size hook. The next thing about bait holder hooks is that they have these jaggedy barbs on the hook sides that are meant to keep the live bait hooked on better so it doesn't come off easily when you're casting or when a pesky bluegill is trying to get away with a free meal. You got to make sure your hooks are always sharp, because if they get snagged or bounced off rocks or they go through weeds or sunken wood, they will become dull over time, and that will be the reason you lose a prize fish. Do not let that happen. Hey, do you want to know a secret hack to always catch more fish than the guy fishing right next to you? Here's what it is. Switch out all your stainless steel hooks to blood red hooks. And that's because the color red is the largemouth bass's favorite color and the one they see best, and red is the color of blood. Science has proven that a red hook represents blood, or a wounded or dying bait fish, and any fish is more prone to strike a red hook than not. Trust me, fishermen, using all red hooks will catch you more fish every time. That I guarantee. My favorite part so far, bobbers. I use a bobber, or a float as they are called, nearly every time I go fishing. They are really a great indicator for anything that is happening below the surface of the water that the fish might be doing to your bait. They absolutely will help you catch more fish every time than the fisherman next to you. A bobber is primarily used to suspend live bait, like we've talked about using, under the surface of the water. And while the round red and white plastic bobbers that you see here are sold virtually everywhere, they're inferior to the balsa wood stick bobbers that Joe and I use every time. The stick bobbers are very lightweight and made of feather-like balsa wood, and they come in bright fluorescent colors that allow you to see the bobber from a distance, and you will feel every single strike, especially from smaller fish. There is no better feeling when you get a big catfish or bass or carp with a heavy bobber and it pulls it way under in a flash. Your heart starts racing and the big fish fight is on, baby. A bobber is very easy to attach to your line with its spring-loaded mechanism and can easily be repositioned to catch fish at different depths. All you have to do is set the bait to the depth the fish are biting at, and you'll catch fish. Split shot is simply a lead sinker in various sizes and weights and is used to let the line sink a little easier and to weight it down. Also makes the line easier to cast out because of the extra little weight. They snap really easily onto your line and can be repositioned easily up and down the line if you need to. Usually you want it to be about 3 to 4 inches up the line from the hook so it is not directly in the fish's line of sight when they are hitting the bait. A simple pair of needle nose pliers is a must-have for any fisherman's tackle box. It can help you crimp the split shot firmly onto the line that we just talked about, and it's also a great tool to remove a hook that might be stubbornly lodged in the fish's mouth or stomach. Reminder though, if the hook is too far in the stomach of the fish, leave it be. You can pull out vital organs and kill the fish. It'll eventually rust out or dissolve. Okay, what do you say we put all this into action and let's go fishing, baby? Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Please like this video, hit the subscribe button before you leave, and don't forget to enable your bell notifications so you never miss another great video coming your way.